Alrighty, everybody. What is going on? Welcome back to the Journeyman Sports Podcast. Today, got something a little bit different for you guys. Excited to bring this to you. Um, haven't really talked about it a lot on this show, but for all of these people watching, all of you guys watching who don't know, a big time IU fan, especially the basketball team. So IU just knocked off number one Purdue on Saturday, and I know this video is a little bit late, but I've had a lot going on with school and just haven't had a lot of time to record, and neither has Cade. But I just wanted to get this out to you guys. Wanted to do a quick kind of something new, hopefully, that I'm hoping to start breaking down IU every week, talking through their games, what's going on, everything like that. But just want to start by saying, what a game from IU. Purdue played a great game as well, but I mean, this is the kind of team that IU can be, and we've seen flashes throughout the year beating teams like Xavier, North Carolina, um, destroying Michigan State, Ohio State, teams like that, and we've seen IU play really well, and we know in the Big Ten they're third right now, and they're starting to put it together finally. But the big difference to me, we'll just start with kind of the big storyline, the big matchup. We had the two kind of national players of the year candidate, and the leader was Zach Edey on Purdue, the 7'4" gargantuan human being that he is, and Trace Jackson Davis at IU. And this was really the big storyline coming into this game. Is how are these two guys going to match up? And it was quite the performance from both of them. Zach Edey had 33 points, 18 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 blocks, to Trace Jackson Davis's 25 points, 7 boards, assists, steal, and 5 blocks. So, you got everything you could have hoped for in this matchup between these two. And it was a great battle to watch all afternoon. You really saw both these teams getting it to those guys, trying to run the offense through them per usual. And we saw resistance, success, and it's really everything you could have hoped for. And, when you're watching that game, if any of you guys out there did watch it, I mean, Zach Edey is he's just unstoppable. I think he's the best player in the country right now. At 7'4", he's really, really hard to stop, especially if he does catch it in the post. But Purdue's smart. I mean, they don't just get it across half court, throw it inside right away. I mean, they're running different actions off the ball. They're moving all the other pieces to then get it into him, and it's almost an instant bucket if he catches it. But the credit I will give to IU, they did a pretty good job of making sure that if he did put the ball on the ground, which he had to sometimes, I mean, he turned it over. He had 5 turnovers, I think, in this game, and IU was up to the task in terms of that. And I think that had to be part of the game plan coming in. He's gonna do his thing, but how do you limit their other players, which IU did a great job of um on defense, and pop the picture up here. But these are the kind of looks that IU is giving Purdue all game. They're in their face. They're making it hard for the ball handlers. I mean, Purdue had a couple guys with 6, 5, but their next best scorer was Fletcher Lawyer, who had 12, and he shot 1 of 6 from three, 4 of 12 from the field. So that's a win if you're IU. And that's, another part of what really made the difference in this game was free throw shooting. IU 15 of 18 for 83% from the line, and Purdue 10 of 17 for 59%, which is uncharacteristic. And the turnovers, that's the other thing. Purdue had 16 turnovers, and IU only had 7. And that's where we see a lot of this happen. And then, in the first half, especially, IU was leading 55-35 at halftime. They were dominant in the first half to me. And they had to lead up to 16. That was their biggest lead of the game. And I think the biggest part of that was just IU was forcing turnovers, and they were running in transition. IU had 12 fast break points and 20 points off of turnovers. And that's a big stat to me in this kind of game. Purdue is a half court team. They like to have a set defense. They like to set up their offense for Edey. They don't do a lot of running in transition either way. And with Zach Edey being 7'4", he is extremely mobile, but he's not built for that up and down kind of game like IU was playing in the first half. And that transition game by IU, whether it's a missed shot, forced turnover, whatever, running with it. Trace is 6'9". He's still a big dude, but I mean, he's very athletic, very nimble on his feet. And you really saw that in this game. I mean, the ability that Trace has to run the break with the guards is what makes IU such a dangerous team, especially on the fast break. And we'll show this clip here in a second, but I just wanted to talk about Purdue's. IU did a very good job pick and roll and handoff actions going right at Zach Edey. And Purdue is a drop coverage team. They don't like Zach Edey getting out onto the 3-point line with these ball handlers, things like that. And go ahead and throw the clip up right now, and then I will continue talking just in a second.
Increase in the absence of Xavier Johnson.
Yeah, they miss Xavier. He's certainly a tremendous point guard for them.
Knocking down it.
He shared it with the kid Williams, who was very effective in the post.
Galloway from straight. Brandon Newman comes on.
They got a nice bench play.
Shafino with a nice backdoor.
There's the score.
Okay.
There's the ball screen.
So, as we
Switch
saw
on it.
Galloway
in
floater.
that clip right there, no separate plays.
Post guy.
Zach Edey is really staying below the free throw line majority of the time, and that's how Purdue plays their pick and roll coverage, and that's fine, but it creates a lot of opportunities if you can exploit it to get these good jump shot attempts. And that's one thing IU was really able to do, especially in that first half. But then, the second half was a different story. Purdue really came out strong. They hit a couple jump shots. And, I mean, you knew it was going to happen. Purdue's the number one team in the country for a reason. And they ended up outscoring IU by 10 in the second half. They put up almost 40 points, and that is pretty impressive. I mean, IU's a good defensive team. They're not one of the best like Purdue is, but that's a really good half by Purdue. And it got close towards the end. Purdue was doing a lot of things right. They were really, really forcing the issue with Zach Edey. And IU made just enough plays down the stretch to end up sealing the game. But there was, in the free throws, that's where it really comes into play. Just to touch back on that, IU made their free throws down the stretch. That's been an issue at times with our team, and that's the biggest part. I mean, they got when they got to the line, they made their shots, and that's how you beat a team like Purdue. Win the turnover battle, and you make your free throws. And then that's what IU was able to do. And just wanted to highlight some of the role players for IU. And this guy is, one of the best players on the team. But Jalen Hood-Schifino, who is a freshman, had 16 points, 4 assists, and he's really good. I don't think he's going to stay at IU for another year. I really hope that he does. I think he still has some shot selection issues at times. I know some of the offense, when they can't get it to Trace, is just running through him, trying to take the other team's best defender off the dribble and make something happen. But, Schifino had a great game. He said to Indiana's coach, Mike Woodson, he said, "I want the ball at the end," and he got 2 buckets. He's been struggling with some of his finishing this year, and he ends up going right at Zach Edey, getting a bucket, and then comes back down the final play of the game when they have to get an inbounds in, beats his guy deep, gets a dunk, and then that seals the game for IU to win. But Jalen Hood-Schifino had a great game. He seemed in control, and then the biggest thing, he only had 1 turnover tonight, and we saw in the previous game against Maryland, that was an issue with turnovers, and IU is missing their 5th-year senior starting point guard, Xavier Johnson, which has forced Schifino to take a much larger role than what we originally had expected. But he's stepped up big time majority of the situations this year. And I mean, he is only a freshman, so I can't say enough about how clutch he was, especially at the end of that game. But he's been a beast all season long, and I hope we can convince him to stay for one more year. And then two other freshmen, Malik Renew had 8 points and 4 rebounds. And then Caleb Banks, who has been limited playing time this year. I mean, he only played 6 minutes in the first half. That was it for the game, but he had 4 points, 3 boards, and both of those guys have really taken big step up. I mean, Renew has essentially had two freshman seasons this year. He had the beginning where it was all going well, and then he struggled in December, and he's really bouncing back now and being the player that we all thought he was capable of being. Caleb Banks really got no run until the last 3 or 4 games with Jordan Geronimo being out. He's came in and he just hustles. He busts his ball. I mean, he busts his ass all game. And I mean, I can't say enough about what he's done for this team and the few games that he's really played in this year. But he's been a big difference maker. Um, and then Renew, just to touch back on him, he went at Zach Edey a couple times just with getting a bucket or two, playing good defense, and I think the game is finally starting to slow down for him a little bit, and he's starting to become more comfortable in the flow of the game. But the other guys wanted to talk about two super seniors, Miller Kopp and Race Thompson. Miller Kopp is one of the better players on this team, in my opinion. Plays his role very well. 6 points in this game, 2 of 3 from 3, which were his only shots, but defends at a above average level. On the season, he has twice as many assists to turnovers. Can shoot the ball well, shooting about 44% from 3 and 50 from the field, 87 from the line. But Miller Kopp has been a guy that's been really good in this kind of heat streak that the Hoosiers have been on. Can't speak enough about him. And then Race Thompson, he only had 6 points, 4 boards, which doesn't look like a lot, but he made a lot of hustle plays. I mean, he's working his tail off down low against Edey, being a common presence on offense, hitting 4 of 4 from the free throw line. I think 2 of those were at the end, which were really big, but Race's effort and just overall control of the game is what really stood out to me. And he's really good, and IU's really going to miss a lot of these guys next year. But then brings me to the last guy I wanted to highlight, Trey Galloway, who played almost the entire game and was just a demon. He had 11 points and 1 rebound, which might not look like a lot when you just first see it, but 2 of 2 from the free throw line, hit a 3 earlier on in the game like we saw against that drop coverage, which we talked about. But I mean, Trey Galloway was a hound on defense. He was up in everybody's grill. He's an Indiana kid, so he said it going into the game. It means something different to him, and I saw that. Trey Galloway in big games at Assembly Hall is like he's game 6 Michael Jordan, honestly, and so happy that he's been able to really find his role, especially this year, and really settle into being one of the cornerstone pieces on this team. And all of these guys have stepped up big. I think IU's one. Let me check real quick. They went on a 5-game winning streak. They beat Wisconsin when they were ranked by 18, beat Illinois on the road by 15, Michigan State at home by 13, beat Minnesota by 4 on the road without Mike Woodson coaching, beat Ohio State at home by 16, lost to Maryland by 11, and then beat Purdue. So, I mean, they've won 6 out of their last 7, and I think they're finally starting to catch their stride a little bit. They're 16-7. They're third in the Big Ten. They're starting to get their rhythm, and I mean, they've got a tough schedule coming up. Tonight, if this video goes out on Tuesday, like I'm hoping it will, have a home matchup against Rutgers, who's number 24 in the country. So this is a big game. We got mollywopped at Rutgers earlier this season, but IU is looking for a big win here. We're number 18 in the country. hopefully we can keep this momentum going. And we've got at Michigan, at Northwestern as our next 2 games. So hopefully we can keep the win streak going on. And to keep that going, it all starts with the defense. I use defense when they're able to hold teams because we know the offense, if you've watched any games this year, is inconsistent at best. And their ability to lock in on defense, hold the other team, force turnovers, that's when they can get into that transition and really excel. And I'm hoping that we continue to see that, and hopefully they build another 5-game win streak to 5-6 game win streak to end the season. So yeah, that was it for this video. Just wanted to do a quick little breakdown of the game. It was one of the better basketball games I've watched this year. Indiana Purdue is one of the premier rivalries in all of college basketball, and it was awesome to watch that game and watch IU win 79-74, and hopefully it's another pivoting point this season to where they will continue to find success. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this, if you would maybe want to see any more of the IU content. And yeah, thank you guys all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, share. And I'm Garrett. I'm just one half of the show. Cade couldn't be here today, but we got a fun video coming out next. We'll be doing the NFL award show, Journeyman Sports Podcast NFL award show. So I'm excited for that one. Hope that you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.